Like and subscribe right now, or this will be in your bed tonight. /Ask Reddit by Ask Planet. What has simultaneously gotten worse and more expensive? Cable TV. Edit, thank you for the gold, kind stranger. It'll help the sting of having to threaten to cancel service next month. Yup. I don't even F with cable anymore. Man, I haven't watched ads on TV for years. Staying at my in-laws and sitting through obnoxious commercials every 15 minutes was painful. Once you stop, there's no going back. Same at my mom's, I'd how she stands it, feels like you're watching ads with a bit of TV shows in between. Same shit with the radio in the car. Jesus Christ, I've listened to the radio once in 2 years in my car, and that was for 10 minutes until I couldn't take it anymore. Radio has definitely gotten worse in that regard. When I was in college in Dallas, there was a sports station I listened to all the time. If I was in the car, I had it on. That was 5 years ago. Moved away after college and never got into the local stuff. When I went home for Christmas this past year, I was excited to listen to it again, and it was unbearable. Literally more advertisements than content. All my homies hate cable. New homes. Cookie cutter houses, built with cheap contractors who cut corners left and right, situated in neighborhoods with ever higher HOA fees, and the HOAs are getting more expensive too. I agree with this one. I thought buying a newly built home would be great. Turns out everything is cheap. Those nice looking baseboards, particle board, cabinets, particle board, nice front door? It's plastic and warps when the temperature changes. Everything looks nice, but at the core it's all super cheap material that was installed as fast as possible by the cheapest bidder. Yep. I finally found myself in a position to buy a house 2 years ago, and figured I'd start by looking at new construction. So I went to a tour of new homes. Well, those 4 hours were enough to convince me I definitely didn't want new build. Everything was built cheaply, and some of them I was pretty worried about their location, too close on flat land to waterways. So I wound up buying a house built in 1962. It's got some quirks, but it's well built and been well loved by the previous owners. Dry and warm in the winter, well shaded in the summer cause the trees have had decades to grow. My house was built in 1921, and, well, it's still here. Probably more than you can say for these new build houses when they reach 99 years. Survivorship bias. If a house built 100 years ago is still standing, it's going to be of decent quality because all the shitty ones have been torn down by now. I mean, in Europe it's more a house over 100 years old just managed to survive being bombed in World War II. Spot on. I work on a bunch of production homes, and all these builders care about is putting up the most houses they can in a year. The quality isn't worth a damn, and seeing the way it's all built firsthand really opened my eyes. It's sad because nobody really knows what they're buying. You see the model home with all its different wall colors and expensive furniture, and you don't notice how shit it all is until you actually live in it. Makes me think of the model home in Arrested Development where everything keeps breaking lol. Even my house that was built in the 70s has some shit quality, not straight walls, electrical half-assed, etc. My university education, specifically this year. They are raising tuition and fall semester has no in-person sessions. I don't envy college students during this crisis. I would be pissed, especially if I had a major dependent on university facilities, labs, etc. I honestly would highly consider a gap year, or two. College kids of Reddit, are any schools offering a gap year as an option? Colleges don't offer gap years, you just don't register and then come back. You'll probably have to reapply. I can't imagine Hay wouldn't let you back in unless you were basically already failed out. The only other option is to take a leave of absence so they know you're coming back, but they usually are only for 1 semester. My school requires you file a leave of absence to hold your scholarship from the university, and the leave can only be for up to a year. Some programs at my school also require a year leave, not a semester, based on course sequences. Cable television. More commercials, channels upon channels of crap, Ridiculous bill. I remember when you could watch a show on cable without any commercials. That was its big selling point. I remember when MTV was music and the History Channel didn't normalize conspiracy theories. Network decay is a scourge forced on consumers by sociopathic bean counters with no morals, ethics or integrity. Oh man, the Learning Channel was probably the furthest fall. 25 years ago, it was literally a channel for nerds. Like, 30-minute programs of a professor explaining a math problem. Now, it's just white trash having conflicts because it's profitable. I call it the Jerry Springer model. That's why they rebranded as TLC. It was no longer a place for learning. It's weird. It used to be so educational. Then Discovery came along with more infotainment, and TLC was all hold my beer. It sucks too. I really loved the channel as a kid. I geeked out on everything and the family always watched the operation together. Now I don't think I'd watch anything on it, but God help me, I can't explain why, but I frickin' love the gold mining shows on Discovery. Photo booths. Oh, the old ones were so cool. 4 different real photos for $1. Now you pay $7 for 4 identical bad laser prints. There's a photo booth company here in the UK that's pretty cool. It's around £5 for 4 photos, it counts you down and you get 4 separate photos, so you can do 4 individual pictures. They're in black and white and look really nice. Afterwards it'll print the 4 images and at the bottom will be a link to an animated GIF of the setup for taking the image. So you see the few seconds before and after sort of thing. It's actually pretty fun. They're in lots of bars and clubs, so there's a lot of drunken photo booth pictures stashed in my house. Smiley face. Edit: the brand is Photomatic, just dug a photo out of my boxes. Just wait until you try to book one for a wedding. $1,500 for an iPad on a stick with a ring light and printer for 4 hours. This is why we bought all the supplies and just made one ourselves, super easily. Literally bought a backdrop and frame, all the fancy lighting, props, tablet stand, color printer, and even the little clicker thing to press when to take the photo. All of that off of Amazon, for less than 1/3 the price we were quoted to rent one from a company. And now we have a photo booth, lol. We can be that cool couple that can bring a whole photo booth setup anytime we're invited to our friends' weddings, parties, events, etc. Do what they did and charge people to rent it. You can lowball all of the other companies and still make your money back your first renter. I remember the donuts at Dunkin' Donuts to be bigger and cheaper. There are more Krispy Kremes where I'm from. Totally lucky enough to have both. And there was a huge selection of flavors every day. When donuts were their main thing. Now, with all of the sandwiches, breakfast foods, shakes, smoothies, etc., donuts are an afterthought. And this is likely the reason they rebranded to Just Dunkin'. Kinda. The rebrand to Just Dunkin' was that they decided to go up against Starbucks in the specialty coffee beverages space. They can offer the same basic array of specialty drinks at a lower price point and back it up with a better menu of food and baked goods. I thought I grew bigger in age, so the donuts seemed smaller. No, I worked there and a few years ago I noticed immediately post Valentine's Day and the week of heart-shaped shells, anything with filling, that the next shipment of regular shells was definitely smaller. They purposely did it in between Valentine's Day so it wouldn't be as noticeable to daily customers. Emo. Health insurance. Goddamn. Last year we ran out of money in our HSA in July. We were paying for everything out of pocket after that and praying for no major medical expenses. And we have Blue Cross Blue Shield. And it ain't cheap. What the hell are we paying for? This year has been a bit better, ironically. Because of Corona we haven't gone anywhere or done anything, so we actually have money in the HSA. Now we're like, what do we do with this money if we still have it in December? New glasses for everybody? Blue Cross Blue Shield has become such trash. It is so expensive and they don't even cover very much. $450 copay for ER visits and I had to pay for my root canals out of pocket. $1,200 each. I would have just gotten my teeth pulled, but they were both in the front. Blue Cross Blue Shield of MN is essentially a last resort. They got in trouble with the state for creating a shell company to be non-profit and sell overpriced HMO/HSA plans. Without the main company's business sector and the interstate Blue Access and Blue Card plans, they probably wouldn't exist. Smaller, but better, HMO insurers have been slowly siphoning their business customers. I got my root canals done in Mexico City and accounting for travel and lodging, which was dirt cheap. It basically came out to about half of what I would have paid stateside, and the doctors I was with were way better than anyone available in my plan. As much as people like to harp on how great everything is in the US, it ain't that cheap or widely accessible if you're not rolling in it. There's a ton of dog shit medical professionals in the US who you'd still have to owe an arm and a leg to for very trivial shit, or in short, make no mistake why there are parts of the US that post medical concerns that are on par with developing nations. The people who harp on about how great American healthcare is do not have to use it often or are rich enough to find and buy the best doctors. Thank you for supporting Ask Planet, you guys are the best.